our first lesson in maths today, and as you can see, I've written here percentages. Now this will be our first topic, and we have so many subtopics in these percentages. Of course, I will explain what percentages means, and then I will cover a number of subtopics in this particular topic, percentages. Number one subtopic that we are going to cover is that we're going to look into conversion of percentages into fractions. And number two, we are also going to cover conversion of fractions into percentages. And lastly, we are going to convert decimals into percentages. So these are the three subtopics that I'm going to cover in this particular lesson today. So Lana, just to begin with, we need to know what a percentage is. It is gotten from two words: per, then cent. Per and then cent. I'm going to explain that. But to begin with, we need to know what a percentage is. And for us, a percentage is a very special type of a fraction. A fraction, we know a fraction has got two numbers: the upper number and the lower number. Like for example, if you write 2/3, 2/3 is a fraction which has got two numbers: the top number, which is 2, and the lower number, which is 3. Now, if you can remember so well that we said the top number is known as a numerator. It's called a numerator, and the lower number is called a denominator. So this is a fraction 2/3 with the numerator being 2 and the denominator being 3. So we have understood what a fraction is. So when I say percentages are special types of fraction, is that if you look at this lower number, we are going to concentrate on the lower number. The upper number, let's for example take x over, the lower number is always going to be 100 plus 100. So that's what makes it a very special type of a fraction, where we get a number on top that is the numerator, but the denominator does not change, remains 100. So, like for example, our number x is the numerator. So the denominator is going to be 100. So this is just x over 100, which can be said x over 100, which is a percentage. Now, I'm putting x here because the numbers can vary from 1 to 20 to 30 to so many other numbers. So that's why I'm not going to pick a specific number. I'm just putting an x over a denominator that is 100. So always the denominator does not change. It remains 100. That is what we mean by percent over 100. So going back to our first subtopic, our first subtopic is conversion of percentages into fraction. Conversion of percentages into fraction. You'll realize that we can write percentage as x over 100 or x with this thing here, a slash and two small zeros. This sign means percent. So we can write it as x over 100, a number of 100, or x percent with this particular a slash and two zeros opposite directions. So this arrow, when you see this sign, just know it just means percent, and it's what we're going to use in many of the examples that I'm going to give. Now, how do we convert a percentage into a fraction? So for example, I'm saying, let's take for example a percentage like 4%. I've said we're going to use the slashes. We are not going to write this. We're going to use the slashes. So this simply means 4%. How are we going to convert 4% into a fraction? Remember, this is a percentage. So for us to convert 4% into a fraction, we are simply going to write, what other version can we write this into? The other version of this is just what I said, x over 100. So we are going to write this number over 100. And this means simply 4 over 100. And that's what we mean by 4%. So you are going to check the other form in which you can write 4%, and that is 4 out of 100, which is here. So we are going to move from this 4% to 4 over 100, so that you can be able to convert it into a fraction. So from here, that is just simple 4 over 100. So we can be able to change, because if you look at the numerator and the denominator have shared a common divisor, which is 4. So this simply can be written as by 4, 1, divided by 4, 25. So 4% can just be written as a fraction as 1 over 25. 4% is simply 1 over 25. We can get another type of a fraction. We can just take another type of a fraction. Like for example, percent like, let's say 25%. 25%, we want to convert 25% into a fraction. So we are going to write this over 100. We said it is this number over 100 that makes it percent. So this is simply written as 25 over 100. This is 25% in another form. So we are going to take this and have a common divisor, that is 25, 1 by 25, 4. And so 25% written as a fraction is 1 over 4. 25% written as a fraction is 1 over 4 in a simplified form. Let's take another example. See, we have an example like can have let's say 17 over 17%. 17%, this simply means 17 over 100. If you look at this is already a fraction. Why? There's a numerator and a denominator. But the denominator is always 100. You can see the denominator is always 100. So these do not have a common divisor. So we are not going to divide with anything. So this remains 17 over 100 because it lacks a common divisor. And so forth and so on. We can continue, get other examples here. B. You can get other examples like 26%. 26%. And this will give us what? Just 26 over 100. 26 over 100. We want to convert these percentages into a fraction. So this simply means 26 over 100. If you see there's a common divisor, 2. And how do we know 2 is a common divisor? We look at the last digit. If the last digit is either an even number or a 0, that means that the numbers can be divided. So by 2 gets here 1 time, 2 gets here 3 times, 13. So by 2, take 10. 2 gets here 5 times, and then you put your 0 there. So this becomes 13 over 50. 13 out of 50. You can move on and get another example. 48%. 48%. Let's write that into a fraction. This simply means 48 over 100. 48% means 48 over 100. That therefore means that we have a common divisor, because our last digit is an even number and here is a 0. Meaning that they can be divided. So we can divide, because you can see 4 is a multiple of this 48, and 4 is also a multiple of 100. So you can divide by 4. By 4, 1, 2, by 4, 25. So our answer is going to be 12 over 25. So 48 written as a percentage is 12 over 25. The last example that I'm going to give learners is that we are going to get an example like, you can have an example like 50%. 50%. Many times I've told you, maybe you have gotten 50% of the exercise that I had given. 50% just means that you have gotten half the questions that I've given. Let's see whether it's true. So 50% means 50 over 100. 50 over 100. And so we can be able to simplify because there's a common divisor. We have 1 0 cancelling with the other 0. You remain with 5 over 10. And if you look at 5, 10 is a multiple of 5. So if you multiply 5 by 2, you can get 10. So by 5, 1. And by 5, 2. So this gives us half. So that's all about conversion of percentages into a fraction. So number one rule for you to be able to convert a percentage into a fraction is to write this percentage as a fraction having a denominator and a numerator. And the numerator is supposed always to be 100, not anything else but 100. Then so the denominator. After getting that, you see whether the numerator and the denominator can be simplified. If they share a common divisor, then you go ahead and simplify. So here we say 4 can be simplified together with 100, meaning that by 4 1, by 4 25. In a case like this one, where our first rule is to write that into a fraction with a numerator and a denominator, we have done that. The numerator is this number, and the denominator becomes 100. So 17 over 100. If you look at 17 over 100, this one they don't share a common divisor, so we leave them at that point. So that's how we can be able to convert percentages into fractions. Now our next our next subtopic is going to be conversion of fractions now into percentage. It is the vice versa of this, the opposite of this. So if you have understood how we have done this, you are going to get the next subtopic, what we are going to do. Because you just convert this to this, and it's very, very possible that we are going to do that. So learners, let's go back to the next subtopic, which is conversion of fractions into percentages. Quickly do that. Conversion of fractions into percentages. Now that you have known what percentages are and what fractions are, so we are going to get a fraction and try to convert it into a percentage. Some of the fractions that we had on this side were like 1 over 25. So we are going to use 1 over 25 is a fraction. How are we going to convert this fraction into a percentage? It's simple. Whenever you're converting a fraction to a percentage, you just simply multiply with 100%. So you take, this will mean 1 over 25 multiplied by 100%. And this percent must remain there. This is what is going to be written in the answers that we're going to give. So this is always over 1. So 25 and 100, they share a common divisor, which is 4. By 25, 1, by 25, 4. So our answer is going to be 4%. I think you can be able to see that well, Lana. We get the fraction, we multiply it with 100%. And this percent, as we're going to simplify, this must remain because it's supposed to be written there. Because we are converting a fraction to percent, this is this sign percent must be there. Let's pick another fraction. We can have another fraction like a third. Yes, a third. A third. A third is a percentage. It's a fraction. And so this means we are going to pick 1 over 3, that is a third, times 100%. That word percent must be there, Lana. So this, there being no common divisor, we are going to write this as 100 over 3. Look here, Lana. 1 times 100 is 100. 3 times 1 is 3. The numerators multiply them alone, and the denominators multiply them alone. This is 100, means it's a whole number. Always all numbers are over 1. If you write something like 2, 2 is a whole number. So if you want to get the denominator of 2, you put it over 1. So it's 2 over 1. 2 over 1. So that's why we have put 100 over 1, so that you can get its denominator. So we are going to go ahead and simplify this. So 3, we're going to use long division. 3 gets into 10. How many times? 3 times. You get 9. Subtract, you get what 10 minus 1 is 1. Then you drop your 10. So your 0 becomes 10. So 3 gets into 10 3 times again. You get 9, remaining 1. So you write 33, what you have gotten here. Then the remainder, 1 over 3. But percent must be there. So this becomes 33 and a third percent. If you convert 1 over 3 into a percent, it becomes 33 and a third percent. 33 and a third percent. Let's pick another fraction. A fraction like, let's say 2 over 5. Yes, 2 over 5. You want to convert 2 over 5 into a percent. So our rule remains, you take the fraction, multiply by 100%. Now what does that give us? But this one have a common divisor. So we don't need to multiply 2 times 1 to get 1 and 5 times 1 to get 5. And then divide using long division. No. We can be able to divide because there is a common divisor here. By 5 gets into 10 2 times, then you add this 0 here. So 2 times 20 is 40%. So that gives us 40%. So 2 over 5, fraction 2 over 5, converted into a percent, you will get 40%. We can have several examples, as many as you want, but the formula is just the same. Getting the fraction, multiply by 100%. Let's have a few other examples. We can have more examples, like learners will get 21 out of 50. 21 out of 50 as a fraction converted into a percent. Now this simply means 21 out of 50 multiply by 100%. By 50, 1 by 50, 2. So this is 21 times 2. That gives you 42%. So learners, we can have as many examples as possible. But let me give you the last one. The last one, we can take 13 out of 26. 13 out of 26 as a fraction. Let's convert it into percentage. So we get 13 out of 26 multiplied by 100%. So let's see, we can have a common divisor, yes, 13 and 26. Remember, we can simplify either vertically or even diagonally. Can simplify vertically or diagonally and get still the same thing. So by 13, 1, by 13, 2, by 2, 1, by 2, 5, then you add this 0. This will give us 50%. 50%. So that's all about conversion of fractions into percentages. Conversion of fractions into percentages. Simple as that. Get the fraction, multiply by 100%, and remember to put the sign at the end of the working. After working out, this percentage sign must be there, because if you write 42 is not a percent, it's just a number. These are digits. So if you put the percentage, that is what makes it have a different view of it. So that's all about conversion of fractions into percentage. Now our last part is conversion of decimals into percentage. Now, let's see conversion of decimals into percentages. Conversion of decimals into percentages. I know you have dealt with decimals. Even in class 6, we did some decimals. Decimals, these are numbers that, they are, for example, if you get a number like 2 or 5. 2 or 5 is a fraction, but you can easily convert this fraction into a decimal by getting the denominator outside and then the numerator inside. This becomes, because 5 cannot divide 2. For you to divide, you need a bigger number inside here than what is outside. So you put a 0 and add a 0 here, 0 point. You're converting this fraction into a decimal. That is what we did in class 6, so I want to remind you. So 5 gets into 4, into 20, how many times? 4 times. So you get 5 times 4 is 20. So your answer is 0. And so this is 0.4. Now 0.4 is a decimal. How can we be able to convert 0.4 into a percentage? Number 1, 0.4, what you have just seen, how we get decimals. This simply means there are 2 ways of doing this question, but it's just the same thing. So I give you the 2 methods, you choose the one that you think is very easy for you. So method number one, you take the decimal, you multiply with 100%. That is 0.4 times 100%. So when you're converting a decimal into a percentage, you can multiply with 100%. That means here you have 1 decimal place. Now when you're multiplying a decimal with zeros, the decimal point goes forward. So they will be removed by the number of decimals here. So here you have 1 decimal place. So 1 0 will remove this decimal, bring it forward, and this now becomes our whole number 4. The 0.4, this will move from here by 1 decimal, but 1 0 to become 4. So 4 times 10, you get 40%. You get 40%. I repeat, it is 0.4. 0.4 times 100. For you to convert a decimal into a percentage, you multiply with 100%. So when you're multiplying decimals with zeros, number with a 0, it can be 1,000, it can be 10,000. The decimal point moves forward, moves that direction. So if you have 0.4, 1 0 will remove the decimal and bring it here. This becomes 4 point. 4 point means this is our whole number, because we don't have any other number on this side. So this is 4, then 4 times 10, which is 40%. We can have a number like, just on that, to show you how many decimals, what decimals move, 0.04. 0.04 will be 0.04 times 100%. What does that mean? These are 1, 2 decimal places, meaning that you are going to count 2 zeros, 1, 2. So 1, 2. This becomes 4%. That is the difference. So the number of decimal points are going to determine how many zeros are going to remain when you have the whole number here. So that is one method. You can do it like that. The second method number 2, of converting decimals into percentages, you can simply convert the decimal into a fraction and then multiply by 100%. That means if you have 0.4, you first convert this into a fraction. How do you convert a decimal into a fraction, you just write the number 4 and then see how many decimal points are here. Only one decimal place. Meaning that this number is supposed to be over 10. This is 4 tenths. So this place value is tenths. So 4 tenths. 4 tenths means 4 out of 10. So that's the fraction 4 out of 10. Then you simply, remember we said when you want to convert a fraction into a percentage, you just multiply by 100%. So you're going to multiply here by 100%. Simple as that. So this is going to divide with that. It's a common divisor. You remain with 4 times 10. That will give you 40%. That is exactly what we got here. So there are 2 ways you can be able to do that question. You convert first the decimal into a fraction by just looking at how many decimal places are here. Only one. After the decimal point, you have only 1 digit. You write that digit over. If it's 1 digit, means that a number with 1 0, which is 10. So 4 tenths. If you have a question like 0.04, that is a decimal 0.04. This means, it simply means 4. Then how many decimal places are we having here? 1, 2. So you put with a number, the denominator with 2 zeros, which is 100. So the number of decimal places here are going to determine what is to be written at the denominator. So it becomes 4 out of 100. 4 hundredths. Tenths, hundredths. Lana, can you be able to see that well? Tenths, hundredths. How many hundredths? 4 hundredths. So 4 hundredths is written as 4 out of 100. Multiply that by 100%. For you to convert that into a percentage, you just multiply with 100%. So these 2 zeros are going to cancel the zeros. So this 100 will go, then you remain with 4 and then percent. 4%. That is exactly what we got here. So Lana, there are 2 methods of doing that particular question. I'm going to do other 2 examples using both methods, and you can choose which one you think you want to use when you are working out. So I'm going to give an example like one example like 0.5 is a decimal. We want to convert 0.5 into a percentage. We simply said, number 1, you can either multiply this with 100% direct, 0.5 times 100%. That will give you 1 decimal place here, 1 0 will remove it, becomes a whole number. 5 times 10, 50%. That is method 1. Number 2, you can decide to make this as a fraction by just looking at the number of decimal places here. It's only 1. After the decimal point, we have only 1 number. So this becomes 5. This is 5 tenths. 5 tenths is same as 5 over 10. Meaning that the number at the denominator is going to be 10 because you have only 1 digit here. So the number of digits after the decimal point determines what number you write at the denominator. How many zeros you will have there. We don't count the 1, we count the zeros. So that is going to be 5 over 10. Now, remember what we said? If you want to convert a fraction into a percentage, you just simply multiply with 100%. So we are going to multiply this again with 100%. So this 0 will cancel with this one. And then you remain with 5 times 10. That will give you also 50%. You can see the 2 methods that will give you the same answer. Let me give you a final example. Like, let's say you have something like 0.226 as a percentage. 0.26 as a percentage. This is going to be using the first method of multiplying the decimal with 100%. It's going to be 0.26, then multiply that with 100%. That will give you, so here we have to count the number of decimal places. 1, 2. 2 numbers of the decimal places, meaning that 2 zeros will bring it here. 1, 2. Meaning that it has become 26. So you ignore this 0, you remain with 26. So this becomes 26, and then you have this percentage, 26%. The second one will be using the second method. We have said you could first convert this into a fraction. That means this is 26 over a number with 2 zeros, because the number of decimal places are 2. So this is 26 tens, hundreds, 26 hundreds. So hundreds means of 100. So this is 26 hundreds. So you multiply that with 100%. This is simply cancel with that, you remain with 26%. So learners, that's how we convert decimals to percentages. So you can choose either method 1 or 2 and be able to do work from that. So that marks the end of our lesson today. That in our lesson we have seen how to convert percentages into fractions, and also we have seen how to convert fractions to percentages, and lastly we have seen how to convert decimals into percentages. We need to remember all this, and because we need to remember this, we have to do some practice. And how do we do this practice? We need to have an exercise. We need to have an exercise that you will do it carefully, right at home, and then I will be able to provide you with the answer, then mark that exercise. So in our primary maths, that is class 7, exercises 63, number 1 to 12, then exercise 64, number 1 to 8, then exercise 65, number 1 to 9. If you do your calculation here, you get these are 29 questions. These are going to help you be able to master what we have just done in this lesson. So learners, carefully calculate these questions, and later I'll provide you with the answers so that you can see whether what you have gotten in your answers is same as what I have in my answers. So until next time, may God bless you. Until tomorrow. Thank you for the lesson.